Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Carolyn. I'm an empath and psychic. In today's video, I'm going to be unboxing and sharing my thoughts on the Wizard's Tarot. I'm super excited to have this deck a part of my collection. From what I've seen of the artwork so far, it's stunning. And so this box that it comes in is fairly large. I would say it's very similar to the In-Between Tarot, the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, and the Everyday Witch Tarot. So if you have any of those decks, I would say it's very similar to the size of those boxes. Definitely the size of like a standard sheet of paper at the very least. And so the way it opens, it has a magnetic strip on the side here, and then you open it like this. You have more stunning artwork here, and then you have the guidebook, and you have this string that you pull up, and then the cards are underneath. I had pulled them out earlier to take them out of the cellophane. Typically this would be underneath them. So here we have the guidebook, and it looks to be very thick, so I'm sure it's going to be very insightful and detailed. So when we open it, it looks like it has a little bit about tarot and wizards, and we have reading the cards. So it goes and explains a little bit about how you would read them. And so here we have the major arcana, and so we have the image of the card here. Then we have the card that it is, so this one is the magician. Then we have the keywords, the reverse meaning, then we have the actual meaning, and then advice. And then we have the minor arcana. And so we have the aces. Okay, so it looks like this deck is split up by like all the aces and then the numbers. So like ace, twos, threes, fours, and so on. So it looks like they're not split up by the suits. It looks like it's the actual cards and the numerology, which I really like because I am into numerology and I do know a bit about it. And so it looks like you have the same thing where you have the image here on one page, you have the card, the keyword, the reverse meaning, but now here you just have a little bit about the card instead of breaking it down to the meaning and the advice. And so it looks like the court cards, you guys have the image again, the corresponding card, and you have keywords, but you don't have a reverse meaning, and you just have a little bit about the card here. So that's very interesting. And then it looks like we have spreads. So we have the 3-card reading, and there's a couple different options for that. Then you have the Celtic cross spread. You have supporting transformation. And so this is a 5-card spread that helps you transform your life. Then we have your best self, another 5-card spread. And then we have true magic spread. This looks like it's a 9-card spread. And I'm trying to see what it's about. You can look at any situation or question with fresh eyes. It can help you see what you may have missed and discover some magical ideas. So I guess it's a spread to help you get insight on a situation or yourself. And then we have gathering energy, amplifying energy. And then we have another spread based on alchemy. And it looks like it's a 7-card spread. I think it would be really good to work with this deck and see how it reads. And then we have the magical path. It talks about how you can use this deck. And then we have the conclusion. So it definitely looks like this deck is going to be very insightful. I think it gives a really good explanation of all the cards, really has a thorough meaning and understanding of them. So I think it would be great if you're new to tarot. If you were using this guidebook, I think it would really help you learn. And I also think it goes into detail with the spreads, where I feel like it would be really easy for beginners to be able to understand how to read tarot spreads and how to use them. Something I wanted to point out real quick before we look at the artwork on the cards is, for those of you who do appreciate the design and the artwork that goes into making the box, there is an image here on the back of it when you take the cards out. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is going to be the same image that's on the Ace of Wands. I'll let you guys know as I'm doing the flip through if I'm correct about that. But really, this is such a well-detailed guidebook, deck, and box. Everything has been thought through, and it's just so stunning and beautiful. And definitely, if you guys are someone where you keep your boxes, I feel like this one is going to be very sturdy, and I think they really put a lot of detail into it. So I zoomed you guys in a bit closer so you can see the cards better. So this is the back of the deck, and it is stunning. I love the color scheme that they chose for it. And so you have this dragon who's wrapped around this crystal and in a very defensive, protective stance where it's trying to guard this crystal. And so I just think it's so stunning. I think it really fits the theme of the Wizard's Tarot, and it's just something that really captures your attention. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the flip through. And so we have the Fool card here. And something I think that's very interesting is typically in the traditional deck, there's a rose that the Fool is carrying. And in this deck, the rose has fallen. And I love how they switched this rose to the white color. I think that's really interesting and really fits this idea of purity and naiveness that comes along with the Fool. I think it's really interesting that they chose a floral pattern to put on the Magician. To me, it's like you have this very high power, intense image that's kind of grounded in the shirt, where it makes him almost more relatable, where it really shows us all that we have the power to be this magician and to wield all these resources here. So this high priestess here, she also has a floral print on her. So I'll be interested to see if throughout the major arcana, if we see a floral pattern continuing. I love the duality in this card with the wizard and the dragon, with the cool tones versus the warm tones. It really shows how things are working together, even though they're not necessarily the same thing. Even though it's more so opposites, it's like everything's in flow. And so here we have the Hermit. And so something interesting to point out is in the Fool card, you had the white rose, and now you have the Hermit who's surrounded by dead flowers, where everything is dying. And here we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it's such a juxtaposition where you have the dark colors of the Hermit that lead into this bright colored Wheel of Fortune. And now we're back to more muted colors with the Justice card. I think it's really interesting that there's a couple for the Death card. That's really not something you see in tarot decks. So that was the major arcana, and it was very interesting. And so with the patterns that I was talking about earlier, it looked like it went up to the Empress card, and then it was more patterns, but they weren't all floral, but there really was an energy where there was flowers that were represented in different cards. They just weren't patterns. And so it definitely seems like everything was linked to some sort of nature. And it also looked like there was other patterns for other cards. So it looked like there was a lot of detail that went into things, and everything was super thought out. And so it's very interesting. I did see that throughout the women in the cards, it looks like there was some reference to a floral pattern on them. So here we have the Ace of Wands, and it does look very similar to the artwork that's inside the box. I really love this Four of Swords card. I think it's really interesting how they have all the swords coming from the different four corners. And I really feel like the girl in this image is giving major Sleeping Beauty vibes. So I think this Four of Pentacles is so interesting because you have this door that's all chained up and it's keeping someone inside, but it's also keeping people trapped outside. And so I really like how it's showing like there's two different points of views to each thing. And it also creates this question when people are acting like the Four of Pentacles, when they're holding on to things, do they even realize that they are doing so? Because it doesn't necessarily look like this person who's trapped inside knows that they are trapped, that they know the door is locked. So I think this would be really interesting when doing readings, especially if you're doing shadow work and you have this come up. I think it would create a new perspective for this card and its meaning. So I really think it's interesting with this card here, they are using books instead of actual swords. And I think that really creates a whole new meaning for this card, because typically with the Seven of Swords, it's about like witnessing something and having that wake up or awareness. And so to me, I really think it's interesting that they are saying that knowledge is the answer that makes us change our perspective and see things in a new light, and gives us that wake up call. I think it's really interesting and will be very insightful when doing readings. I love how in this Eight of Swords card, she literally has her hand on the rope. Like if she pulls that, she can untie it. It really shows you, like, even sometimes in negative situations like in this Eight of Swords, that sometimes we have the answer, we just have to realize that we have it. I feel like this card could be used for some sort of reunion. I feel like it would definitely provide that message in certain readings. I really like how they're using flowers in this deck. I love that the Queen of Wands is holding a sunflower. I really love how they're representing the King of Cups energy, because the King of Cups is an energy that's supposed to be the stable, calm, constant, peaceful energy, even though things on the outside situation may not be as peaceful. The King of Cups is supposed to be that grounding energy. And so here you have this King of Cups in the middle of this ocean that has very rough waters, but yet he is calm. He is just sitting on the throne and letting the waves take them wherever they are going. I think that is really interesting, and I think it really shows people how sometimes, like, even though you have things going on around you that are chaotic, it doesn't mean you have to give into that energy. So I just got done filming the flip through, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards, and then I'll let you guys know my final thoughts. So I'm going to start out with the Ripple Shuffle. And they shuffle really nicely, and then the Overhand Shuffle, again, super nice. So the thing about these cards is that they are really flexible, so it makes them really good when shuffling, and they also have a nice amount of slip to them, where when you're doing the overhand shuffle, they're not getting stuck to one another. I would say the only things about these cards is because of the texture, you might be prone to get a lot of jumpers. So if you're someone who you don't like having your cards fly out of your deck, especially when you're doing the overhand shuffle, that might be an issue. I personally like jumpers. I use them a lot in my readings, so I actually really love how these cards shuffle. And so then my final thoughts on this deck is that I absolutely love it. I really think that these cards are super detailed. I really think that the artwork is very cohesive. I really feel like there's an overarching story that's very easy to follow along with. And I also feel like this deck has a very unique perspective and depiction of certain cards that makes you look a little bit deeper than the traditional meanings. It really helps you look further into readings, and I feel like this would be really good for going more in depth with things. I also feel like this deck would be amazing at shadow work, because a lot of the cards, they're depicted very similarly to traditional tarot, but there is a little bit of a difference that makes you just see things in a way that makes a little bit more sense, that really gives you further clarification onto things. And I really love the use of symbolism in the cards. I feel like they really relate it to one another, where I feel you could get a very good story out of these cards, where they actually depict a message that's easily tied together rather than a bunch of different separate messages. And so I really recommend this deck. I think think it's going to be great for beginners. I think it's very insightful. I think it's going to be very easy to learn because the guidebook looks to be very detailed, and I feel like these cards are very intuitive because they are so detailed and there's a lot of symbolism. I think it's going to be very easy to learn and to follow. I also think this deck would be great for people who have already been reading tarot for a long time, because I think it's really going to add further clarification and insight into your readings. And so I'm super excited to have this deck a part of my collection. I really feel like it's going to help me take my readings to a whole new level, and I would really recommend you guys to go out and get this deck if you've been thinking about it, or even if you guys haven't been thinking about it. I really hope that my review has shown you guys what a great deck this is, because I highly recommend it. I'm going to be doing a lot more readings with this in the future, so I'll let you guys know in the comments below if my comments change, but I really don't think they will, because first impressions, I absolutely love it. So I really hope that this video helps you guys out. If you guys were debating getting it, let me know in the comments down below if you are going to get it, and if you guys already have it, let me know what you think about this deck. If you guys did like this video, please give this video a big thumbs up and hit subscribe. I would love to have you guys a part of this family. I post 2 times a week, and you want to make sure that bell notification is turned on so you don't miss my next video. I post more unboxing videos like this. I also post educational videos to help you all in your spiritual journey, and I also post readings, so that's pick pile readings, zodiac readings, and collective readings to help you guys get insight on your life. I also have a Facebook group that I have linked in the description box down below if you guys want to get advice on things. It's really a place where we are a community, and I also offer readings, and we have other readers in the group as well. And if you guys do want to get your own personal readings, I do sell them, and you can either message me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can also go to my Etsy shop and book a reading through there. And with all that being said, I'm sending you guys so much love and light in your own personal journeys, and I can't wait to see you guys all in my next video. Have a good one. Bye.